Live from number 5 Ola Hansen Street in Tesano in Accra, this is Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou. Coming up. Over 70 pregnant women in Bawku lost their lives within 2021 and 2022 as a result of the absence of enough health workers in the area due to the conflict.
Within 2021-2022, in Bawku alone, we have lost as many as 70 of mothers who are dying because they wish they could get access to health workers.
Also, some mothers in the Sanarigo municipality of the northern region appeal to the Ghana Health Service to make available childhood vaccines under the expanded immunization program after reports of a shortage.
The disease is very horrible, so we don't want it to attack our children. So we are appealing the government to provide the medicines for us.
Citi Newsroom, former minority leader in Parliament Haruna Idris, who turns down seat offered him in Parliament by the leadership of the minority caucus.
So, Mr. Speaker, forgive me that I have to assume your chair. There was whether I should take over from Honorable Collins Dowda or not. And I've told them that Honorable Collins Dowda is senior by age, senior even to this house.
And later, Asqua Circuit Court remands National Democratic Congress youth organizer for the Swami constituency, Razak Kwampa Avolia, into police custody.
Inasmuch as his plea has not been taken, does not vitiate the fact of asking for bail for him. So we applied for bail for him. But unfortunately, the court refused the bail on condition that it borders on national security.
Thank you for choosing Citi TV. To details of our stories now, in the Asqua Circuit Court in the Ashanti region has remanded the National Democratic Congress youth organizer for the Swami constituency, Razak Kwampa Avolia, into police custody. The 32-year-old man was detained by police on Wednesday for allegedly inciting political violence. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani has been covering this for us and has details now. Hafiz.
Now, it has been a busy Thursday here at the Asqua Court complex as NDC supporters from constituencies in the Ashanti region besieged the court premises following the appearance of the embattled Swami youth organizer who has been arrested by the police for inciting political violence. Most of the supporters were here as early as 7 a.m. to wait for the police to bring in the accused person. NDC party supporters filled up the main entrance of the Asqua Court complex and endured a long wait for the arrival of the Swami youth organizer. Hours later, police brought in the accused person but decided to use the back door entrance of the court to avoid the party people who had massed up in solidarity. Razak Kwampa Avolia, even in handcuff, tried to wave party supporters who chanted and heaped praises on him. Police officers prevented party supporters into the main court building. The prosecution told the court that comments by the accused person in a viral video could destabilize the nation. The prosecution also said police needed ample time to investigate the matter and that the accused person should not be granted bail. Counsel for the accused, Evans Amankwa, pleaded with the court to grant his client bail since he surrendered himself to the police. The court, presided over by His Honor Fred Obitre, remanded the accused into police custody, citing national security implications in the matter. Lawyer Evans Amankwa spoke after the proceedings.
Inasmuch as his plea has not been taken, does not vitiate the fact of asking for bail for him. So we applied for bail for him. But unfortunately, the court refused the bail on condition that it borders on national security, which I'm a bit dumbfounded. Because this is the person, you see, the fundamental basis of bail, other granting or refusal of bail, is the fact that if the accused person or the suspect is granted bail, will he avail himself to stand trial? But the accused person has proved beyond reasonable doubt.
Party supporters were angered by the outcome, but the defense counsel called for calm.
Let nobody think that they can gag anybody's free speech in this country. No. So, putting Razak Kwampa into custody will not deter any NDC person from speaking. But one thing that I want to establish as a fact is that NDC as a party is not interested in destabilizing the peace of this country. That's supposed to remain resolute to anybody. But we will not also sit down for anybody to intimidate us.
There was heavy police presence, and party supporters held posters with inscriptions showing support for the accused. Other party supporters broke down in tears. The case has been adjourned to February 14, 2023.
Police officers were deployed to the Asqa Court complex, and they had taken positions at the various entrances to maintain law and order. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Asqa Court Complex, Ashanti Region.
Let's go to the northern region now, and some mothers in the Sanarigo municipality are appealing to the Ghana Health Service to make available vaccines under the expanded immunization program. According to the mothers, over a month now, each time they visit the health center for weighing, they do not get some of the vaccines, including the measles vaccine.
The region is currently facing a measles outbreak, which started in October last year. Meanwhile, the acting Northern Regional Director of Health, Brema Baba Abubakari, has denied reports of vaccine shortage in the region. Citi News checks at health facilities in Savlugu, Tamale, Sanarigu, however, confirmed non-availability of vaccines. Here are some mothers speaking to Citi News.
I delivered this boy. The last time I went, only one that they gave us up to now. We, the mothers, say there's no vaccine. Even if you are even pregnant, you go to the weighing. Those you yourself should go and buy medicine. If you're not pregnant, this is no medicine for pregnant women. And I will go every month. If I go every month, they'll say that no vaccine. Even the last time when I went, they told me that if I want, because their main office when I go to TTH, when you go there, it's not there. Even TTH said when you go there, the medicine, they don't have the vaccine there. Central, it's not there. It's there. All the hospitals in Northern region here, they're not having them.
I went there like 3 months now, and they are still telling me that the vaccine is not yet come. I decided to go to other hospitals, but I heard some people saying that other hospitals there is the same problem.
I've not been going to public places because the disease is very horrible, so we don't want it to attack our children. So we are appealing the government to provide the medicines for us.
Mothers in the region are concerned about the absence of vaccines at the various health facilities, and they are appealing to the health officials to make the vaccines available so they can vaccinate their children against any illness. From Tamale, I am Dinah Ngwan for Citi News.
Let's go to the Upper East region now, and the Bawku district has lost over 70 pregnant women within 2021 and 2022 as a result of the absence of enough health workers in the area. The protracted conflict has resulted in the health workers fleeing the area to protect their lives. Many have left to other districts within the region, whilst others have relocated to other regions. The Upper East Regional Security Council, RECSEC, has assured of its commitment to work with the feuding factions to bring a lasting solution to the problem. Now, on working visit to the Bawku area to commiserate with the affected families, members of the RECSEC said they will work with all stakeholders to ensure peace in Bawku. Upper East Regional Correspondent Frederick Awuni has more.
The protracted Bawku ethnic conflict has resulted in the loss of many lives and destruction to property. Bawku has become a ghost town with gunshots almost every night. Last week, the military were accused of allegedly killing 7 persons in line of duty, but in a press statement debunked the claims. Following the death of the 7, the Upper East Regional Security Council, RECSEC, paid a working visit to Bawku to commiserate with bereaved families from both factions and called on the feuding factions to cease fire and embrace peace. RECSEC chairman, who doubles as the Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, bemoaned the impact of the conflict on livelihoods and admonished both factions to cease fire.
Fighting never solves any problem. It rather draws us back. It rather increases our poverty levels. We all know banks have closed, schools have closed, hospitals have closed. Commercial activity is completely almost zero. People are scared. These are the facts of Bawku. These are the realities of Bawku. What are we doing?
But the assembly member for Misiga, Paul Musa, expressed dissatisfaction about the alleged military brutality in Bawku and called on RECSEC to ensure all security personnel exercise high standards of professionalism in their line of duty.
After everything, when they were questioning me, I was giving them their answers. All of a sudden, one of them came with a gun. He wanted to shoot me, then they gave him a sign that he shouldn't do that. Then he cocked it and removed the bullet, they removed the maga, then he now used the gun on me. He hit me to the extent that I have to protect myself by using my hand and protect myself because I would have been killed. He beat me with a gun to the extent that they want. They wound my head, after my hand here, they have wounded me there. You can see all over here, even here, by using the pin of the map to choke me. Then you can see my head. I just went for treatment.
The head of human resources of the Ghana Education Service in the Upper East region, Joseph Anaba, says the attrition rate in 2022 was overwhelming.
As a result of the conflict, ladies and gentlemen, releases and transfers outside Bawku in 2021, 30 teachers left Bawku municipality to other districts within the region. But in 2022, inter-district transfers alone was 95. 95 left Bawku municipality to other districts in the region, and 85 teachers left Bawku to other regions in the nation.
A senior public health officer at the Regional Health Directorate, Suleimana Majid, also bemoaned the impact of the conflict on essential services such as health and appealed for peace in Bawku.
We've also seen that women who are actually pregnant and would have wished that they get quick access to delivery, because if a woman is actually pregnant, it's the life of the woman as well as the life of the baby who is yet to be born. Within 2021-2022, in Bawku alone, we have lost as many as 70 of mothers who are dying because they wish they could get access to health workers to be able to give them timely health interventions. Putting these two alone will tell us that there is actually a devastating effect of the conflict in Bawku.
RECSEC has admonished the feuding factions to use dialogue and embrace peace instead of the continuous firing of arms in Bawku. They have actually appealed and begged them to cease the gunshots, embrace peace. But then also there have been concerns from the feuding factions that all illegal barriers within the Bawku area should be removed so as the people can integrate well as a measure of bringing lasting peace to Bawku. Reporting for Citi News, Frederick Aouni, Bawku.
Let's remain with Bawku, and the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference is appealing to the government to utilize all resources at its disposal to find lasting solutions to the Bawku conflict. Addressing a press conference, President of the Bishop Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, bemoaned the security situation in the community, stating that it is turning into a ghost town. There's more in this report by our correspondent Daniel Sakti, and read to you by Hawa Idrisu.
Has in recent times dominated headlines as a result of some deaths recorded in the community. Residents of the area recently accused the military of shooting unarmed civilians. However, the Ghana Armed Forces in a statement denied the accusation. Addressing a press conference, President of the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference lamented the security situation in Bawku, saying it is gradually becoming a ghost town. He further said the situation has worsened as a result of the influx of refugees from Burkina Faso, adding that it could serve as grounds for terrorist infiltration.
We wish to reiterate our appeal to government as a matter of urgency to use all the resources at its disposal to ensure that a lasting solution is found to the protracted conflict in Bawku. The situation of insecurity in Bawku and its environs is further compounded by the recent influx of refugees from Burkina Faso into the area, thus putting further pressure on the already impoverished and beleaguered communities welcoming these refugees who are seeking safe haven.
Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, however, called on the government to empower the national security to ensure that terrorists do not infiltrate the country. He again urged security personnel deployed to the community to ensure peace and desist from meting out brutalities and other forms of inhumane treatment against residents of the troubled community.
We urge the government to empower the national security apparatus to ensure the non-infiltration of terrorist groups into the country. While commending the security personnel on the ground for working towards security and peace in Bawku, we call on them to be more professional and circumspect in the discharge of their duties and be measured in the use of their firearms so as not to kill innocent people.
Bishop of the Konongo-Mampong Diocese, Most Reverend Joseph Osebonsu, also served notice that the group may picket at the Jubilee House if their appeals to government to deal with the Bawku situation falls on deaf ears.
If it doesn't do it, then we may have to walk to Jubilee House with some people from Bawku and picket the place. the government will act.
Now, immediate past minority leader in the House of Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, has turned down a seat offered him in the chamber by leadership of the minority caucus. The MP for Tamale South bemoaned the seat offered him belongs to the Member of Parliament for Isutife South, Collins Dauda, who is his senior colleague, hence he cannot accept it. He made the statement during a contribution to the debate on the Africa Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation, also known as the Niamey Convention, while sitting on the seat belonging to the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei Owusu. Our correspondent in Parliament is Ni Ayikwe Okai. Ni, take it over.
Parliament on Thursday debated on the Niamey Convention laid before the House. While the debate was ongoing, we saw the entry of the former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, who ended up occupying the seat of the Wa Central MP, Rashid Pelpo. But he later moved to occupy the seat of the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei Owusu, who was at the time chairing the debate. Haruna Idrisu contributed to the debate and in his final submission apologized to the First Deputy Speaker for occupying his seat, indicating that the seat offered him by the leadership of the minority caucus belonged to Collins Dauda, who is his senior colleague in age and in the chamber. Hence, he would not be able to accept that seat. However, whatever seat that is offered to him is accepted.
Mr. Speaker, forgive me that I have to assume your chair. There was whether I should take over from Honorable Collins Dauda or not. And I've told them that Honorable Collins Dauda is senior by age, senior even to this house. I would not fit into his chair as somebody who is well trained from home. So any other chair, Mr. Speaker, acceptable to me. I'm still the elected member of Parliament for Tamale South. I thank you.
In an interaction with Citi News, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, James Kluche Aveji, advised the Auditor General to ignore calls by the Attorney General to unpublish the COVID-19 expenditure report from its website.
The Auditor General, after the completion of the audit, as soon as he presented the report to Mr. Speaker to be laid, he went ahead and fulfilled Section 23 of Act 584 to publish it. So why is the Attorney General asking him to unpublish it? So I disagree with him perfectly there, that he has no power. And then he said it's just an advice. I want the Auditor General not to take that advice because it's a bad advice.
And why do you think it's a bad advice?
It's a bad advice because as soon as he takes that advice, he will be violating Section 23 of Act 584. Because Section 23 says publish it as soon as you present a report to Parliament, to the Speaker. He has presented a report to the Speaker. So he went ahead and published it. If you unpublish it, you are violating this. You can be taken to court.
Later, the Education Committee of Parliament had an engagement with management of the University of Ghana as well as the leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students and other key stakeholders in the education sector over concerns regarding the increment of fees.
We listened to all of them, the university authorities as well as the students. And I think they all gave an account of what is happening and why they are appearing before the committee. We have listened to them carefully, and we're going to work on that and then come out with our recommendations. So as a committee, I can only tell you that we have listened to them, but let me also add that University of Ghana, by our observation and going through the documents available to us, has not done anything contrary to the law.
Reporting for Citi News from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okai.
And here in our studios in Tesano in Accra, I am Umaru Sandamadu. You're watching Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Still ahead. Vacating at the Finance Ministry by the retirees entered day 4 as they call for total exemption of their bonds from government's debt exchange program. We have that story and more coming up. Please stay with us.
Creamy Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA. It is important for husbands to support their wives who test positive for HIV when they are pregnant. The assistance I got from my husband encouraged me to follow all the guidelines given by the nurses and doctors. I gave birth to an HIV-negative child. I'm therefore appealing to all men to test for HIV and encourage their wives to do same. All pregnant women should test for HIV and follow instructions given by their healthcare providers. This will help them to have HIV-free babies. Men and women, let's work together to have an HIV-free generation.
Our children must be free to shine.
You're welcome back. Now, lawyers for Minority Leader Dr. Kezela Tuforsin have refuted claims by prosecution that their client, as Deputy Finance Minister, authorized the establishment of letters of credit for the purchase of some ambulances. The former Deputy Finance Minister and two others are on trial for counts of causing financial loss to the state over the importation of 30 ambulances. These were part of a contract between the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health, I beg your pardon, and the Dubai-based firm Big C Limited in 2012 for the purchase of 200 ambulances. The prosecution on Thursday presented its last witness, who was an investigator with the Economic and Organized Crime Office. The lawyers of the accused during cross-examination, however, pushed the view that Dr. Atuforsen acted only on behalf of former Finance Minister Seth Terkper. But the witnesses insisted investigations revealed that the NDC legislator acted without authorization from Seth Terkper. The case has been adjourned to 14th of February for cross-examination to continue. To some other stories now, in the picketing at the Finance Ministry by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum has entered Day 4. Now, about 30 retirees with investments in government securities gathered once again at the Finance Ministry to call on government to completely exempt their investments from the ongoing domestic debt operation. Government has proposed a 15% coupon rate at 5-year maturity for individual bondholders over 59 years, but the pensioners have rejected the terms, demanding for total exemption. Citi News' Charles Osukumi has more.
Right, so it's Day 4 of our coverage of the picketing at the Finance Ministry by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. The Pensioner Bondholders Forum is a group of retirees who have investments in government securities, and what they've been asking for is for complete exemption from the domestic debt exchange program currently ongoing by government. They say they want exemption because although the debt exchange program is voluntary, the exemption gives them guarantees that when their investments are due, government will have no option than to honor those bonds. As you can see behind me, they're numbering about 30. Today they actually brought a banner that reads exempt pensioners from the domestic debt exchange program. As they always do, when they come, they sing patriotic songs. If you can hear in the background, they're actually singing the national anthem. We'll stick around and have some conversations with them on why they have decided to go through with this for 4 consecutive days. How old are you, sir?
I'm 81 years old.
81 years old. Why have you decided to join this protest?
Because I can't participate. I can't. 81. How can I wait for 5 years or 15 years? How can I wait? I can't. And I need money for my dialysis. I have a kidney problem.
How much is that costing you?
I'm about to start. I don't know how much. I know it's expensive.
You know, I have worked for over 35 years at the University of Ghana. I've contributed to producing doctors, dentists, bankers, all kinds of people in this country. So I've paid my dues. And I've been paying fees for people that I don't even know. Family members and even sometimes students who cannot afford to pay their fees. I help them and I'm still doing so. So if this thing is taken away from me, I'm going to suffer. The people who depend on me will also suffer. So for me, it's a very serious thing, and I don't want anybody to touch my coupons. I've planned my life around it, and nobody has the right to touch it at all, in any form or in any way.
On Monday, February 6, when this daily picketing began, the finance minister addressed the picketers. Since then, there's been no form of communication from either the finance ministry or any government quarters during or after the daily picketing. I asked the convener for the Pensioners Bondholders Forum if they are looking forward to any formal communication from the ministry.
That was the only day. The second day, we wanted to have some discussion with the minister. Basically, we wanted to find out some information. We didn't want to give the information out, but let the people see what we want. But we couldn't get there. So later on, the chief director said, well, if you want any information, he thinks that we should write. If we write, we will get that information. Well, to me, I feel that's not how to solve problems when you have urgent matters to deal with. People are picketing at your premises. They want to see you and you say, book an appointment. I can't see. You are not a problem solver. Whatever is happening, even if you are eating, you must stop and come and listen to what they want to tell you when they are picketing. And you think the picketers will inform you, give you adequate information before you come and see them. That is not how we solve crisis. If you are in crisis, you want to resolve crisis, I should apply that I want to talk to you. I should write to you that I want to do. That is not. But that is what they told us, and we left that Tuesday. Yesterday, we didn't make any attempt, because if we have attempted Tuesday, you couldn't get through. Why should we attempt again? Today, we haven't made any attempt. When they come here, we won't make any attempt. If they themselves want to tell us something, we are here. We are at their premises. They are not going anywhere. They can just come and say, can we meet your representative? We will go and meet them.
It's past 11, and so it's now time to go. As you can see behind me, they just finished singing the national anthem and said a word of prayer, singing the same tune they've been singing since Monday. They want complete exemption from government's domestic debt exchange program. They're expected to be here again tomorrow and continue with their picketing. From the Finance Ministry here in Accra, my name is Charles Osukumi for Citi News.
Let's talk about education now. The Ghana National Association of Teachers is pushing for the return of the traditional academic calendar, also referred to as a single-track system, in all senior high schools across the country. The association is of the view that this would ease the pressure on teachers and restore sanity in the education sector. Citi News' Beverly London is on this story and has more to share with us. Beverly, please take it up.
So the Ghana Education Service has been engaging teacher unions in the drafting of the 2023 academic calendar. The calendar was finally released on Wednesday, February 8th. Now, stakeholders, including parents, have raised issue with how long their wards will be at home. Some of the students will be home for only 8 days. Now, teachers have also raised concern with that. Thomas Musa is the General Secretary for the Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Teachers are working 24/7. Around the clock, and if we do not return to our old system, soon a lot of teachers will be depressed. Some will start having some kind of chronic sicknesses and all those things, which the nation might not be able to contain. How would you feel like the soldiers or your people that are supposed to go and stand to train the future leaders, then they start falling sick? Attendance will be affected and all that. They cannot deliver and all. It means that quality assurance, among other things, cannot be guaranteed because the output level will be affected. And that is the more reason why we need to take the health of the teachers into consideration, and so that we return to our traditional calendar.
He adds that the unions are in talks with the GES to develop a roadmap to phase out the double track system.
Particularly the double track is terrible. Teachers teach from January to December because as these ones are going, these ones are coming. We demand that they give us the roadmap at that one too, so that we can get it done, and then make sure that everybody is fine. So that is where we are. But regarding the primary, also the basic schools and the SHS that are doing a single track, that one by September will come back to our old traditional system of running the timetable.
Some parents who spoke to Citi News also shared how the short breaks exert pressure on them to find money for the awards.
Yeah, a problem in terms of scarcity, because that short time now, I could school no matter something. I just also say the egg desk for they be out top provisions and now there's some pocket money. That for that one there is very difficult for the government and obey me. I will be from one my parents in better than as a father.
Sisi ankwalano kwanya opa mbemano endorse and I yes some parents so omo the pressure am I if we go school more or per se yema kwan omrefie because yeniska I the mom because ebi mimi say no me ye obi adwuma bon and as obi adwuma so ente say wakasa we adwuma ente pressure na modi maye no e dos na su papa me nkasa pressure na kasa metumi and then ensua pressure no ente say be sa na asana no mboma kwan no na ka kwan no mbema no e wo say distance kakra into mbem emaye anya sana pressure na e ba no in fact it also be brave.
Reporting for Citi News, Beverly London.
Now, some stakeholders have rejected calls for the Auditor General to withdraw its publication of the audit on COVID-19 related expenditure. The Attorney General, in a letter, argued that the publication prior to parliamentary consideration of the report is unconstitutional and prejudicial. But the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, and some members of the Public Accounts Committee believe the letter ought to be disregarded. There's more in this report.
The concerns of the Attorney General come less than 2 months after the Auditor General released his report on COVID-19 related expenditure. The Attorney General in the letter questioned why the Auditor General will publicize the report before Parliament considers same. But this has come as a surprise to some stakeholders and members of the Public Accounts Committee. Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed, for instance, wonders why it has taken the Attorney General this long to realize the alleged illegality when this has always been the practice.
How long has this Attorney General been in office as Attorney General? I think 2021, and prior to that he was the Deputy Attorney General. It took him, I think, about 6 years, getting to 7 years, to realize that the publication of the Auditor General's report by the Auditor General and the manner in which it is done is illegal. That's what he's telling us.
The Center for Democratic Development, which questioned the government's handling of the exit of Daniel Domlevo as Auditor General, is of the view that this advice, when heeded to, will weaken the audit service.
Some of us are shocked. I mean, this is completely unprecedented in many ways. We didn't expect that, there's going to be this. For me, we consider it as an assault on the Auditor General again already. And from civil society, the concerns we have had with the way government has gone about pursuing certain actions that have weakened the Auditor General.
The Attorney General in his letter noted that the practice is unconstitutional upon a proper reading of Article 187 Clause 5 and 187 Clause 6 of the 1992 Constitution. But the Center for Democratic Development is of the view that the argument by the Attorney General lacks any grounding in law.
First of all, the Constitution doesn't make any provision that says you can only publish after Parliament has debated it, or says that no, you are not allowed to publish anything. And as you rightly said, Section 23 of the Audit Service Act is very clear that you publish right after you lay it before Parliament. So if we're talking about law, there is no confusion as to what the Auditor General's powers are.
The Attorney General in his advice notes that though these issues have been raised with the Auditor General previously, the content was necessitated by controversies that have characterized the release of the audit report on COVID-19 expenditure. The report revealed instances of misapplication of funds raised for COVID-19. According to the report, about 50% of the funds were used for budgetary support rather than for COVID-19 expenses. Tamale Central MP Murtala Mohammed believes the move is only a plot to divert attention from the infractions unraveled in the report by the Auditor General.
It is obvious that he's taken this position because of the expose of the outright thievery that is engaged by President Nanado and his group of incompetent ministers, including the Attorney General, because the level of incompetence is just legendary. So I think that he should spare us this moral, high ground.
The Attorney General believes the publication is premature and Parliament's duty of debating and scrutinizing the report has been prejudiced by the publication. But this has been refuted by a member of the Public Accounts Committee, an MPP member of Parliament for Anya Soto.
Nothing in the public domain will sway us into a decision. We work almost like a jury in the sense that when juries take a case, they're not influenced, they're not supposed to be influenced by public perception. And we will do the work to the best of our knowledge and the best of our abilities. And I can, at this point, assure Ghanaians that they are very, skilled, professional people on public account.
The Attorney General is by the letter asking the Auditor General to withdraw the publication. But how should the Auditor General react to this?
If I were the Auditor General, I would look for the next available dustbin and put it in there.
It was extraordinary times, and Attorney General should, as the ever people say, budgety, just relax.
The Auditor General should ignore, he should maintain his powers under the law as he has understood it and exercise it all these years and continue to serve the public.
The Auditor General is yet to react to this call coming in from the Attorney General, at least publicly, but he has been urged by various stakeholders to totally ignore the advice coming from the Office of the Attorney General. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajeman.
Well, still to come on the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Firefighters rescued driver and conductor of gas tanker following accident at Sokoban in the Ashanti region. Please remain with Citi TV.
Yes. What is it with pig feet? No.
Ghana is a country that's full of historical antecedents and rich cultural heritage. What is a rich cultural heritage without soul food? And what is soul food without a touch of ethnicity? And what is ethnicity if it's not from your village? The season of all things Ghanaian is upon us, and we are here to celebrate an aspect of our Ghanaianness with the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar, happening live from the 25th to the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Come, let's treat ourselves to delectable, authentic Ghanaian cuisine from the northern, the middle, and the southern zones of the country that reflect our true cultural diversity. While at it, we'll be jamming to genuine Ghanaian music amidst games, competitions, storytelling, and so much more. Interested vendors of indigenous foods are invited to register. Don't let this be another missed opportunity. Call 0205-973-973 to book a stand and be part of the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar 2023. Anyamime, the country make hot too. So come, let's enjoy some good food, resounding music, heartfelt camaraderie, and remind ourselves why Ghana is still our home at the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar on the 25th and the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the AMA from 8 a.m. each day. The Back to Your Village Food Bazaar is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Volte Ghana Limited.
You're welcome back. Now, personnel of the Ghana Fire Service on Thursday, February 9, swiftly put out a fire outbreak at the police headquarters in Accra. Fire tenders were mobilized Thursday morning to respond to a raging fire in one of the structures at the police national headquarters. The first respondent crew from the Fire Service national headquarters arrived at 9:23 a.m. at the fire scene to tactically confine the fire to the room of origin. The fierce fire was brought under control at 9:58 a.m. and finally doused at 10:37 a.m. without recording any casualty except for partial fire damage to the walls, glass windows, and some other contents of the affected space. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, and police have issued a statement saying there were no casualties and the cause of the fire is yet to be established. Still on fires, and it took firefighters several hours to quench the flames after a gas tanker vehicle fell on its side and caught fire at Sokoban and Payo in the Ashanti region. The tanker driver and his conductor, who were trapped when it caught fire, were rescued by the firefighters and sent to the hospital. Our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Edward Opomafo has more.
According to eyewitnesses, the gas tanker driver, in his attempt to negotiate a curve, fell on his side. Residents and passerbys in the area, who were in a state of shock then decided to run towards safety. One of the eyewitnesses, Tijani Ahmed Barry, narrates the incident to Citi News.
This car, that's the tanker. When he was coming, it seemed like the actual speed was too high. So I think he failed brake. So due to that, he fell and he hit the stone. There's stone around this very road. So that's where it blast. So people started beginning to run. So I personally, I ran informing other colleagues to also run to save their life. So what I will urge this government is that what happens here is occurring. This is not the first time.
It keeps occurring here?
It keeps occurring here. For the past 20 years, I've been here. So this is not the first time. Since they maintain the road, the accident rate has been going high. So I can detect that maybe because of the curve is very sharp. So they have to maybe do some speed ramps or straighten the road very well so that this accident rate will go low.
So you feel the curve should be expanded?
They have to expand the curve so that that's the, because it's happening here regularly, this very place.
The public relations officer of the Ghana National Fire Service in the Ashanti region, DO3 Peter Ade, has also been speaking to Citi News on the incident.
When we got to the scene, a gas tanker was lying on the side and it was on fire. We had to mobilize 3 more tenders to join the one on the ground, making 4 in number to manage the situation. So as you can see, the situation is being managed, and until we are able to put it under control and finally extinguish the fire, we will be here. The little information we picked on the ground revealed that the driver negotiated a curve that is close by, and after negotiating the curve, one of his front tires got burst, and he fell on his side, and it led to the fire. The driver and the mate have been rescued, and they are currently at Asafo Hospital.
Fire officers are still conducting investigations into the incident. For now, the driver and the mate have been rushed to the hospital. For Citi News, I'm Edward Upon Marvel. Sokobana Mpeyu, Kumasi.
Well, that's it for Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Our website, citinewsroom.com, has more. Subscribe to Citi Tube on YouTube for more exclusive video contents from Citi TV. You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 182. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. We do appreciate you for the time.
Former president of the Ghana Football Association, Alhaji Mohammed Nuruddin Jawula, is our guest on Footprints this weekend.
While I was in the Ministry of Finance,